Hey guys, Devin Gridley at All Father Fitness, and today we're going to be going off the recent playlist that I have been constructing, and it's basically how hard you should train, basically anything you need to know about how hard you should be training, and basically the benefits you get from it. And originally, I actually made this channel for the specific reason, not only to just teach people things about training and nutrition and all that good stuff, but I made it specifically so people could see what I am doing and how well it's working. So for the last, I believe 2 months now, I've been making videos saying I'm training this way and this is what I've gotten from it. And I had a goal in mind. It was gain 4 pounds of muscle within 1 month. And if you want to go and watch those, they are probably down in the description somewhere. If not, just go to my channel. And if you aren't already subbed and never got the notification for that, please go and subscribe and also hit the bell notification so you get the notifications for videos like that. But we're going to be talking specifically what I am doing and what I have been able to gain from doing that. Not just saying, oh yeah, I gained this much, this is how training is going, whatever. And before I actually get into it, the way I'm able to track this is writing it down, obviously, and I've been doing this for days and days and days now. And I originally started doing this just because I wanted to be able to show you what I do in a day for each one of my workouts. So I just, I have 3 different training days times twice because I go twice a week per training day. So I have 6 days in total. And so it's push-pull legs, push-pull legs. But I wanted to get just all 3. Originally, I was just going to do it on one day, and then I was like, you can't really just do it on one day, obviously, because I could fake it, whatever. So I have days and days and days of this. But then I decided I'm just going to get at least 3, and stuff just caught up with me, and I haven't been able to make the video. But before I start getting into exactly what I'm doing, I wanted to say that writing all my lifts down, how many sets I do, how many reps, what exercise, what day it is, all that good stuff, is probably one of the best training things I've ever done in the last 2 or 3 years. I don't think anything has been more beneficial than writing everything that I'm doing down. It helps a lot, especially when strength comes in. And for people who don't know, I've been training strength more than I have been for hypertrophy because I want to get all my lifts back to where they were, and they officially are back to where they were and even better. Like my squat jumped. For people who don't know, who didn't watch my fitness training thing, I ripped my abdomen on both sides about, I believe, 2 years ago now, and I did it on a squat. So every time I squat, I just got immense pain, and I'd feel my abdomen rip if I got too heavy. So I basically couldn't lift heavy in the squat for 2 years, and it was horrible, and I hated it because the squat used to be one of my favorite movements, obviously, because I was so good at it. And so my squat was stuck at 235 for a year, and that's obviously just not good because I was previously lifting 320. It's a very big decrease. That's 100 pounds. So I basically, a few days ago, went and tested my squat, was very, very careful and very precise about what I was lifting, how I was lifting, my form and my technique, and I got up to 260 pounds, I believe, which is obviously a crazy jump. And I'm hoping, since today is also leg day, that I go in and I'm able to break that PR again. But back into how this video is, or how this video is beneficial to you. I'm basically just going to go over how many sets I do, what exercises, how many reps, and I want you to try and compare. You can't really compare unless you write your stuff down as well. It'd be a little bit more difficult. But you can kind of see these are the lifts that I'm doing. So if you aren't doing these lifts, that's probably not a good thing, right? As well as he does this many sets. He does them in this certain way. He does them in this order, whatever. And I want you to compare it to yourself on how you train and see if you're not training as hard as you should be, or you're right at what I'm training, you're doing basically all the same stuff, which is good, you're on a great path, or you're potentially even doing more. So this was October 26th on Friday. You probably can't see, so I'm just going to keep it right here. And this was leg day. So I did deadlifts as my first exercise because obviously you want to do your compound movements first. You want to get them out of the way because they take the most energy to do, and deadlifts are even more so because it works so much muscle in the movement. So I go in, and this day, this isn't like every other day because I just got back from a trip. I had to make up workouts basically. So it was a little bit harder than normal, and the only way it was harder was because I did both conventional and sumo deadlifts because I wanted to test what my conventional and my sumo deadlift were, because previously my conventional pull was 315 pounds and my sumo was 340. So I have to test both of them to see where they are. And I ended up getting to 315 on both lifts, and hopefully today or next leg day I'll get up to closer to the 340 on the sumo lift. But anyways, so for deadlifts, the weight, it doesn't really matter because it doesn't matter how much weight you lift as long as it's hard for you, because you could be a lot bigger than me, you're going to be lifting a lot more weight, or you can be a lot lighter than me and you're going to be lifting not as much weight, obviously. So the weight doesn't matter, but I basically did 15 sets in total, 15 sets of deadlifts in total. Now this is a strength day, so volume is a lot more accumulated, so take that into mind, as well as I was doing conventional and sumo pulls. I wasn't just doing conventional. So if I was doing conventional, I would have only done, I believe, 8 sets, and one was a failed set. So basically only 7 sets. And deadlifts, this comes a little bit easier to people because deadlifts are just automatically a strength exercise. You don't really do deadlifts for hypertrophy, for muscle gain, or you do, but you don't do deadlifts within the rep range of 6 to 12. You do them a lot lower because it's just easier for you. So a good amount of these sets were only sets to put weight on the bar and get my body like acclimated to lifting more weight, because you can't just jump in and lift 315. That's not how it works. You have to warm your muscles up to lifting more and more weight, especially if you haven't been lifting a crazy amount of weight like this in a long time. So you can take off 3 sets of those 7 sets that I did. So I basically only did 4 actual working sets that were like 100% of what I could possibly do. So I did basically 3 warm-up sets, and then I started lowering my rep range. Those 3 working sets or warm-up sets were at 5 reps. So it's just a nice little, it's enough to warm your muscles up, but still have enough weight on the bar to just get your body acclimated to lifting heavier weight. And then I moved down to 1 rep where I did 1 set where I did 3 reps, and then the last 4 were all 1 rep. So I ended up doing 275 for one, and then I just worked my way up to what I felt comfortable with until I got to 315 for 1 rep. And I did the same thing with sumo, but we're not really going to account for that because it doesn't really count on a normal day. So after deadlifts, I ended up doing 7 sets of squats. Now, one of these was a 1 rep because I was just really feeling good. You should never do this, and I have said it on my channel before, that you shouldn't just decide that you're going to do a 1 rep or, just do something crazy like that. You shouldn't do that, but sometimes the pre-workout gets to your head and you just kind of have to, and I ended up doing that. And I'm getting to 225, and I was really happy about that because not squatting in a very long time, I was able to almost hit that 235, so I felt really good, and I had no pain, so I just was euphoric about that. But I ended up doing this more for hypertrophy than strength. They were still in strength numbers, but they weren't like super low. Like I never got into a 3 reps. I only got, my average was around, it looks like 5 to 6 reps per squat, and that's really good for hypertrophy or really good for something like the squat because you're lifting a lot more weight, so you don't want to get injured by doing a ton of reps. It's just really hard on your body, so obviously you don't want to do that. But after that, I ended up doing my 2 accessories, which was leg extensions and the leg press, and I only did 5 sets of the leg extensions and then 4 reps of the leg press, and that's a pretty normal day for a leg day. So now we're going to get into different days, and we're just going to go over 2 more, and then I might go back to an actual leg day and just kind of compare, and you can kind of contrast, because that leg day was my day back from my trip, so I wasn't 100%, but I still went pretty hard. But now this is my push day, so this is the day that I train chest, triceps, and all that good stuff, and I ended up also doing a 1 rep max on my bench press as well, because I want, like I said in the beginning of the video, I was focusing on strength. I want to get my numbers back up to where they were. So a normal day does not really look like this. So I did 9 sets total of the bench press, and I did 4 for hypertrophy, and then the rest were all for strength, basically. And how I do my hypertrophy movements is usually 4 to 5 sets, or I guess it's 12, 10, 8. Yeah, 4 sets. I don't know what I was thinking right there. The papers kind of confuse you because you're looking at a bunch of different numbers. So 4 sets, and it goes by this, because the perfect rep ranges for hypertrophy are 6 to 12. So you work your way from 12 to 6, and you usually do this by 12, 10, 8, 6, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do, and that's the perfect for hypertrophy. But at the end, I did ones for my max, and I ended up getting to, it looks like 165 for my bench press, which is really, really good, because my best PR before quarantine was 170, so I'm only 5 pounds away. And actually yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I actually ended up hitting 170, and I was very excited about that. But anyways, so how all my workouts work is I usually do 4 sets, and it's supposed to go 12, 8, 6, or 12, 10, 8, 6, and then I'm on to the next exercise. And sometimes the good thing about writing your things down is that you're able to see how much weight you should be lifting and whether or not you need to lower or higher the weight. And it comes in handy when you do something like, if you're doing the bench press and you throw on 25s on each side and you end up getting way above 12, you get 15, and you're like, oh, well, what do I do now? You just work your way back to 12, and now you know you can't have 25s on each side. You have to have 30 on each side or whatever, right? And it's really nice to go back and look at, see what you're doing, and just be able to not do those, I would say, trash sets. They're not really trash sets because you're getting work out of it, but it just makes your workout go a lot faster, and that's important for me because my workout is already 2 hours long, and I just don't have the time in the day working 8 hours, having school, and trying to do YouTube as good as I can and have my workout go that long. So it's difficult for me, but yeah, 4 sets, and it normally just goes 12, 10, 8, 6. And we're going to try and push this along because I've explained I don't want to go through everything and be like, oh, I did this many sets for this exercise, this many sets for this exercise. Now you know how many sets I do. It's usually around 4 unless it's a strength day or the pre-workout really went to my head and I just try to go and crush a workout. So normally it's going to be bench for 4 sets, however many I can do for 12, 10, 8, 6. Then I do the close grip bench press. I do the dumbbell incline bench press. Then I do the shoulder press and side shoulder raises at a superset. So I do the shoulder press, no rest. I start my shoulder raises, then I take rest, and that's one working set basically. And then after that, I do skull crushers, and then I do chest crossovers as my last accessory on my chest. So I do 4 sets of every single one of those exercises, and sometimes I do supersets, sometimes I do drop sets. It really depends on what exercise I'm doing and per which day I'm on. So I have 2 push days a week. Push day 1 is different from push day 2. It has it has the same spectrum of exercises, obviously, but they're different. So instead of bench press on day 1, on the day 2 of push, I'm going to do dumbbell bench press instead of barbell bench press. So things like that, just minor changes that help in either strength or hypertrophy, whatever I'm going for that day. So now we're on to back, and this back is usually the day that I go crazy for no reason, and I could not tell you why, but I doubt you could read it. But yeah, I fill up the page, and if it's only 4 sets per exercise and I only do like 4 or 5, it should only be 20 lines. This is well over 20 lines. So for my back day, I mix up pull-ups and pull-downs. So I do pull-ups as much as I can until I just am not in the hypertrophy zone. So I can usually get 10, 8, 6, and 6, and then I'm toast from there. So then I just do pull-downs, and I just really, really try to get I just try to get a really good mind-muscle connection. And for this back day and almost every other back day, I ended up doing 7 sets of just the pull-ups and pull-downs, not 7 sets of pull-ups and pull-downs, 7 sets all together. And it looks like I actually supersetted those, which I don't know why I did, but it's interesting. But after that, I ended up doing barbell rows, and barbell rows I ended up doing 6 sets in total, working my way from 15 all the way to 10, back up to 12. And sometimes I do that if I just progress down the line too fast and I accidentally skip something. So if I go from 15, 10, 8, or 15, 10, 6, I only did 3 sets, so I need to get more sets in. So I'll work my way back up to whatever I missed, like 10 reps or whatever, right? And after that, I did a superset of trap raises and easy bar curls, and it looks like I did 7 sets in total for both of those, which is a lot as well. And then I did my accessories being cable curls and rear delts, having 4 sets in total for those. So I don't know why back day is just a day that I always overdo it, or not overdo it, I guess, because I'm never so sore at the end of the day or the next day that I just can't move, or I can't work, or I can't go to the gym again. That has never happened, I don't think, ever, especially the way I set my workouts throughout the week. That's just really not possible. I made sure it wasn't possible. But back day is always just the day that I go crazy for some reason. And this is how a normal day usually looks. So this is a back day, and apparently this is a day that just was average or pretty normal. And obviously it's only pretty close to half the page, and it's all the same exact exercises, just in the sets that I'm supposed to do. So yeah, I made this. Hopefully it was pretty boring. I'm sure it was. It's pretty boring talking about it. In my head, the video went a lot better. But the main purpose of the video still stands, whether it was boring or not. If you stay till the end of the video, you can now compare what I'm doing with what you're doing. And if you're doing less than me, then you should probably be doing more, unless you're getting substantial gains from it. If you're getting substantial gains, congratulations, you have fantastic genetics. If you are not, and you're having trouble gaining muscle or losing fat, look at your training, how it is, and look at how I'm training. And if you're doing substantially less, you're not making any gains, then it's time to up your work in the gym or in the nutrition department, obviously. So I just want people to see what I'm doing, and then be able to compare it to themselves, and hopefully do exactly what I'm doing, maybe more, maybe even a little bit less, and see more gains than what they're getting right now. Doesn't matter what you do to your training, as long as you're progressing in the gym and outside of it. That's what's really important. Doesn't matter how many times I tell you to do something correctly, whatever. It doesn't matter how many times I tell you something. You have to actually go and do it. And if you go and do it, I did something right. If it works for you, I did something even more right, okay? And that's my job. I just want people to go to the gym. I want them to get as much gains as they could possibly get, whether it's in the gym or outside of the gym in nutrition. I want them to get the most they could possibly get out of doing that. And hopefully videos like this, if you stayed and you learned something from it, will do that. And if it did, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. If you are already subscribed, please hit the bell notifications so you can be notified when I post videos, so you can come and watch them and hopefully learn more, because that's what this is all about, learning more and being better. So yeah, that's all I really got, and I'll see you in the next one.